Good morning, SML, and happy Halloween. It's a special edition of M&M in the morning, as always, with my friend Matt. And now, just for this episode, we got the Prince of Darkness, Spooky World. What's going on, Spook?
Hey, what's going on, man?
And Matt, I guess we should bring you in too.
Hi guys.
You're boring. You've been here before.
Yeah, I'm just gonna steal the show on this Halloween.
It's a special Halloween edition. We've been planning on this for a while. And so we're going to do a couple Halloween-themed SML segments as you hear the spooky noises in the background this morning. All right, so let's just get right on into it. Our first segment is going to be Trick or Treat. And you guys will catch on real fast. I'll start. All right. In season 43, the Lions are the NFC favorite. Trick or treat?
Ooh, Matt, you want to go first, and I'll just take it out?
Yeah, I'm gonna say trick. I don't think you can. I think you have to go with the reigning NFC champion and dump. He's got the team. He's just got a better team. I'm sorry, he's just got a better team. So I'm gonna say trick.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna follow through and say trick also. I've only ever played dump once, and I came close to beating him. QP completely blew me out, but I'm just gonna put that on the Bengals team. But Dump's offense is just too explosive. Watching Kyler run around in that Super Bowl, he was just too fast. And that Lions team honestly should not even have made it that far. So once QB gets figured out a little bit more, I think he'll start losing early in the playoffs. Hate to say it.
So here's my thinking: is the Lions have 2 first-round picks, both in the top 25. And on top of that, they made the NFC Championship game with this barren Lions roster with only really 2 significant adds to it. Do I think he's the favorite? No, but you know what? I mean, who knows? With a really good offseason, he could be. And we're recording this a few days before Halloween, actually, so we don't know what he's done in this offseason. But those 2 first-round picks, they're going to be big for him, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the favorite, but he's right behind Dump. I mean, it's 1 and 1A, in my opinion. So he's the next guy up in the NFC.
And
without doubt.
Spooky, as our guest of honor, I'll let you go next unless you had more to add on that one.
I was probably just going to add a little bit on. They're definitely going to be 1A and 1B for probably this entire cycle. But I just don't know if he's going to be able to get over Dump. I think Dump's finally got figured out, and he's going to be reoccurring in the NFC.
All right, Spooky, take it away with your next one.
Ooh.
Unless you want to pass to Matt.
Oh, no, I got it. Prime will only win 2 Super Bowls. Trick or treat.
Only is the key word I'm keen in here. I'm going to say that's a trick, and not for the reason that you think. I don't think Prime wins 2 Super Bowls this year. I said it. He'll probably prove me wrong. But the AFC is loaded. He'll probably get out of the AFC at least twice. But I do not think that Prime comes out with 2 Super Bowls this year.
Yeah, I'm going to say trick too, and I'm going to go along the same lines as Meats. I think he wins 1. I think the AFC is extremely talented. Obviously, Prime is extremely talented. I do think Faz is a better player, and I think what's really going to hurt Prime is he's always been a pretty good defender and good on defense. And it's really hard this year. The user's nerfed even more than it was last year, and he had a pretty solid user. I don't think he's going to be able to get the stops that he's used to getting, no matter how many points he puts up. So I'm going to go 1 Super Bowl for Prime this cycle.
Ooh, honestly, I didn't expect that from either of y'all. But I can honestly probably hop on that bandwagon too. Prime, I wanna sort of compare it to the situation I'm in. How I was gone for this amount of time, now I'm back, so I'm a little rusty. Prime's always been with the Colts, so he's always been familiar, and just now he's in a completely new landscape. He's got a completely loaded division, minus the Broncos, no offense, but I think it's definitely gonna be a lot harder, especially with Bomber having such a good Browns team and that up and coming Bengals team. But that's a small plug.
The Bengals aren't a threat.
Yeah, and he's going to need to not shop Mecole Hardman. Either get something really good for him or use him. 33 receptions, 549 yards, and 6 touchdowns. That's not going to do it. 97 speed in the hands of Prime used to mean something, and if he holds on to Hardman, I expect that next season it will.
Well, don't get me wrong. If he can like trade Hardman, get a couple picks, and try, because that defense is really what's going to hold him down. Like before we got disconnected, I was diming him. So, but if he can get some picks and load up that defense, he might be able to compete. But like I said, I don't see more than one Super Bowl.
I agree. If he trades Hardman, it needs to be for defense or picks to get defense. But if he hangs on to him, he needs to scheme some plays to get him the ball.
All right, Matt, take it away with your next one.
So, trick or treat, someone other than the big four, and that's going to be Faz, Prime, Dan, and Bomber, will make the Super Bowl in the AFC.
Is that this season, or is that all cycle?
The whole entire cycle.
I think that's a treat. And you know what? Why? Because it's extremely tough to be consistent and to win in the playoffs. I think somebody's going to go on a lucky run. We've seen it every single cycle. You could point to me last cycle. You could point to NYT the cycle before that, or Royce that cycle as well. I don't know if anybody's really going to be able to overcome a bunch of those guys in the playoffs. So if you run into 3 of those guys in the playoffs, it's going to be really hard. However, if you get lucky and you end up with only having to play one of those guys, I think it could happen.
It really hurts me to probably say that this is a treat as much as I want to say it's a trick, but I'm just going to go with treat. Like Mead said, if anybody has a Cinderella run, like, for example, like me or Matt, if we had a Cinderella run, we have to deal with Bomber already in our division, so we could probably figure out Bomber. We could probably get something together and figure him out. But you still have the other 3 that are right there, and the chances of just running that gauntlet all the way to a Simbardi, oh, that's going to be tough. That would definitely be an SML season. Probably the best you'll ever see.
Yeah, I'm also going to treat my own trick or treat here. I like what you both said. Yeah, maybe some Cinderella will come in and beat one of them, but you're likely going to have to beat more than one. Now, Bomber only had to beat one of the big 4, but he is one of the big 4, so I'm not counting that. So I agree. I think if someone other than the big 4 makes it, and they beat more than one of them, that's certainly one of the runs for the ages.
Without a doubt.
All right, I'll take it over. Trick or treat, at least 2 of our 4 new I think it's 4. At least 2 new owners will make the playoffs in season 43, replacing guys that have already been here before.
I will take this one, and I will go treat. The Ravens Spades is going to make the playoffs in season 43. He's going to replace DW. And in the NFC, I think the Packers owner will make the playoffs and replace... Now that's tricky. I think he's going to replace D-Muse. I'm not sold on Kellen Mond yet.
Spooky?
It's tough. You are dropping some tough trick or treats. But I'm gonna have to say it's a treat. Spades, playing Spades already. Me and him have some great shootouts. Honestly, if Spades can lock up defense, because his defense, it's a little. If you look at his numbers on Daddy Leagues, his offense number one, and like number 3. Defense bottom, like below 26. So if he can lock up defense, I think he could be the person that goes on that Cinderella run. So he could probably knock out a couple people from the playoffs, a couple of the OGs. And then
I don't think you should be talking about defense, but go on.
Oh, trust me. I honestly cannot figure it out. So I know for one thing, I will not be the person whose spot gets stolen because it is going to take me a minute to figure this out. But besides the other guys, I really haven't seen anything, like I haven't seen them play. The Packers owner, I would like to imagine him knocking off Future and maybe giving QP a run for his money. But out of all of them, Spades is the only person I really see doing something.
All right, so we'll go back to you, Spooky.
Hold on, before he goes, I would like to amend my previous comment. I forgot that I said that the Packers owner would replace D-Muse. I forgot that Future made the playoffs. He is going to replace Future, not D-Muse.
Shots fired.
Carry on, Spooky.
As much I would love to see that happen. Shots at Future.
You know he's going to be in chat saying something passive-aggressive to you.
Oh, I don't know if you pay attention to when I was the 49ers and he was the Seahawks. Our entire season was passive-aggressive. Trick or treat. Coop, who is a great passer in the past, just riddled with turnovers. Coop will be the person that wins a majority of the NFC South. Trick or treat.
Trick. And here's why. These guys are all not very good, okay? They're all under 500. ZZ may be the worst of them. And he's only like, 2 games back of the division or something like that. I think it's going to be a pretty even split. I don't know if anybody's really going to run away with it. And I think it'll come down to the schedule. I think I said it before. I think somebody else on a different podcast said it before as well. It really wouldn't be that weird to see a worst to first like a couple times just based on the schedule in this division. I like Coop. I think he's a good player, but I think on Fields' best days that Coop is the third best player in that division. I think realistically Mike is going to win the most if I had to pick one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the opposite stance. I'm going to say treat. I do think that Coop is the best player in that division, and Coop was an underrated player last cycle. He didn't really do anything, as far as, advancing far in the playoffs, but he will play you tough. You could not sleep on that game. Field is the most talented offensively, and I don't think that it is close there, but he is also the worst on defense, and I don't think it's close there. Coop went 5-1 in the division. I think ZZ lost to his CPU, but he did go 5-1 in the division. The next best was Field at 3-3. And his only loss was to Field in a close one. So I think he's probably going to be splitting with Field most of the time. But I think that he can sweep Mike and ZZ fairly consistently, or maybe go 3-1. I'm going to buy, and I'm going to take the treat on that. Coop wins it the most.
I just want to throw it out there. Coop didn't make the playoffs last year. Neither did Mike. Neither did ZZ. Field did. However, some of you may remember the circumstances that led to that playoff berth, in which case, no sense in rehashing that. The real ones will remember. But he did lose that game. In reality, all 4 of these teams didn't make the playoffs in a season in which they played the full season. So it'll be really interesting to see.
I'm honestly going to go treat. Like I kind of probably hinted at when I was asking the question. I'm a big Coop fan. I love Coop. So I would love to see him succeed. I am not going to lie. It hurts me every day that I load up to play Bomber or Spades or even Matt that ZZ is from Houston and took the Texans from me. So I could not be in that division. And I'm pretty sure I played Coop this year. I beat him. He was one of the few people I did beat. And I'm pretty sure that hints that we're probably going to play his division next year, this coming up cycle. So I'm going to be able to find out firsthand. But Field is the best player, but Coop is the best and the most and more consistent. And that's why I think he's going to win the most.
Yeah, I think that's good reasoning. He is the pinnacle of consistency, good or bad.
Yeah.
So my last trick or treat. Nick Chubb will lead the SML in rushing every year. He's the starter.
That's a trick because there's no way. There's just no way. He's the best running back in the league. There's no way that he's going to lead it every single season. You give me the majority of the season, sure, I'll take that. But he's a running back. Running backs get injured. Running backs also don't necessarily be consistent. And also, let's not forget, we got some guys that like to run the ball more than Bomber does. So do I think it's a stretch that somebody could beat out Nick Chubb just based on yardage? No, I don't. Do I think he's going to lead the majority of the seasons? Yeah, probably. I don't think he's going to lead all of them.
I'm going to have to say that is also a trick. I believe Nick Chubb is completely unfair in the best way possible. But I believe something's going to happen. He's either going to have one season where he's injured or something small like that, or Meats is going to find the next Freddie Golden and run that man till his wheels fall off. Or
R.I.P. Freddie Golden.
R.I.P. Clinton McLean.
Who?
Or the Hall of Fame wide receiver. Duh. Or Fields finally going to realize how to use Derrick Henry and take at least one from him. So I'm going to say that's a trick.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
sorry to cut you off,
Go
but
ahead.
we've seen Derrick Henry capable of rushing for 300 plus yards in a game. So I'm on board. I mean, and that's a trick.
Yeah, I got to play them both. They're both frustrating. I hated playing Derrick Henry too. He, like Chubb, I just bounced off of him every time. But I'm gonna go Treat, just to be on the contrary to you guys. Barring an injury, I think he will. Just to give you an idea, he broke, and this is not an accurately tracked stat in Madden, but according to Daddy Leagues, Nick Chubb broke 120 tackles on the season. The next closest was Derrick Henry at 95, so that's 25 less. The next closest behind him was Ezekiel Elliott, 66. So the number three ranked in broken tackles had about half of what Nick Chubb had, and I think he had more than 120. And he also led the league by over 500 yards in total yards. So I don't think there's any slowing him down. It's not like Bomber has a scheme for Nick Chubb that people will figure out. He just has to run into people and they just fall off of him. And unless they nerf Bruiser, I don't see how that changes. So Treat on that one.
So I'm gonna add something real fast. You're right, and that's what makes Nick Chubb probably the scariest. A lot more scarier than Derrick Henry is Bomber doesn't abuse him. Like, on some plays, yeah, this ball is going to Chubb. But if you dare mess up and commit or overcommit, Schwartz is going to have a very long touchdown catch on you.
Yep.
All right, well, speaking of Nick Chubb, let's talk about what scares us. And I'll start. Nick Chubb scares the hell out of me. I do not want to play him. I don't want to see him on the field. I know I did a good job against him in the playoffs, but he still had 80 rushing yards or something like that. He's just unstoppable. And the way Bomber uses him, if you try to key in on Chubb, Schwartz is going to be open over the top. And Nick Chubb is an absolute monster. Matt, what scares you?
Dump scares me if he doesn't make the Super Bowl. Dump is a very charismatic guy, if I will say so myself. And I think part of Dump's preparation for games and preparation for the season and everything that goes along with it is to just get in on Twitter, on his team Twitter, get in the Discord and just talk trash and just take shots at everyone. And when he wins, it's really good. But when he loses, I feel like he just drops to the opposite end of that spectrum. Kind of maybe disappears a little bit or makes excuses. And this year it worked. He lost in the Super Bowl, and it was close for the majority of the game. And so I think it was easier for him to take. If he doesn't make the Super Bowl, I'm scared of Dump. Spooky, what scares you?
I'm going to come and say Spade scares me. That Ravens team, I don't know what it is. Every time I play him, like I said, it's a shootout because it's defense. Defense does not scare me. That offense, though, every other play is a home run play on me. and like our first game went over 100, like over probably like 150 points, I want to say, or something close. It was something stupid. So Spade scares me because I haven't figured him out yet. He came in, Lamar Jackson rose up the passing ranks, and knowing that he's just going to be able to build that team how he likes it, I'm scared of Spade.
Spooky, I'm going to one-up you, and I'm scared of all of the new guys. They all scare me. I have no idea what to do anytime I play somebody that's in their first 10 games or so. Not to mention they're coming in all this new stuff, like, daily fantasy football. That's scary, okay? Stay away from me. Not to make it any better, I've got one of them in my division, and I hate playing guys that are just new. At least with the rest of the league, you know, they might be a whole lot better than me, but at least they're known quantities. I know what they like to do. I know how to game plan for them. I know, okay, on third down, Nick Chubb's going to get the ball or whatever. I don't know with these new guys, and there's so many in the AFC now that look decent. I think we might be in for a surprise come AFC playoffs next year. Matt, how about you?
I'm scared every time Fig makes a trade. I'm sorry, buddy. I promise that I'm not picking on you, and I like to think that no one else is either. But the trade committee saved you in that Josh Jacobs trade, and you went back and didn't really fix it. You gave up too much. You shouldn't have given up Kinlaw and Deebo Samuel, two young star development players. One of them is fine. Send one of them and maybe a mid to late round pick and call it good. I don't have an issue with you acquiring Josh Jacobs. Power backs are decent this Madden. But to send all of that for a non-superstar halfback who isn't fast, it just seems like a huge overpay, and we try to help you and you still do it anyway. And I totally agree with his statement that Madden is supposed to be fun. And if you should make trades based on fun, that should factor into it. But there's a fine line between fun and taking away from your competitiveness. So I am scared every time Fig makes a trade. What scares you, Spooky?
Ooh, what scares me? So, this scares me for a reason you might not think. Noel scares me. Noel scares me because I know no matter how much faith I put into him, I'm always going to be let down in some other way. He came into the SML like one of those scary new guys that Meat was talking about. He made the AFC Championship his first season, and you were going to think he wasn't going to look back. Well, he looked back and he went in reverse. And now he struggles to make the playoffs. So I know. Take it away.
I don't think Noel looked back. I think he looked down at the roof he was falling through.
I can completely agree with that. The Seahawks are not flying high.
Interesting. All right, so what scares me? I'm scared of that Bengals defense, not for the reasons that I should be. I just look at them and I have to cover my eyes anytime they are on the field because something bad is about to happen. There is we have a record for most yards given up and most points given up. And I don't have the records out in front of me, but Spooky was, and the Bengals defense was damn near the top of those all-time records like this season. And it scares me that you have to be in a division with the Ravens and with the Browns.
All these shots, if you could actually aim, I'd be hurt right now.
Good comeback.
Oh, thank you.
B minus comeback. All right,
No,
Matt.
I'll agree with that.
Well, I'm starting to get scared of this segment. There's a lot of shots flying, and luckily I haven't been hit yet. But
don't worry.
I'm scared of an elite AFC player getting Devontae Adams. Kind of shocked he's in free agency. I'm surprised that the new Packers owner did not find a way to make it work. And maybe there's no way for it to have worked. But in Madden, I feel like cap's never really that hard to figure out if you need it to. So I am scared of one of the big four, and it doesn't matter which one. I think I'm really scared if Faz gets him because Diggs and Devontae Adams is a scary combo with how well he passes. But yeah, I'm scared of an elite AFC player signing Devontae Adams in free agency. What scares you, Spooky?
Real quick, I just want to butt in. Sorry about that. Good job being topical, Matt. That was 3 days ago at this point, and Devontae Adams is insert team name here. All right, go ahead,
Yes,
Spooky.
of course.
So I will say one quick thing that scares me, kind of like a jump scare, and then what actually scares me. The quick little jump scare is what Matt just said. I have not looked at free agency yet. I did not know Devontae Adams was in free agency. So honestly, Bengals might offer him ownership stake just so one of those big four doesn't get him. But onto what really scares me is Prime. Not for his playing skills, but for his negotiation skills. When I saw him at Tiny today with a little DM, it was like watching someone just chase somebody with a knife. And I hope that I hope everybody knows the standard of don't trade with Prime. He jumped in my DMs too, and I told him I would probably be publicly executed if I even thought about trading with him. So Prime's charisma when it comes to trading is what scares me.
The thing with Prime is he always overpays. He does it really well. He does it better than anybody else in the league. He overpays for everything. And that's why people keep trading with him.
Without doubt.
But that's why you got to that's why, because if you're Prime, that's what you have to do. Nobody wants to trade with you, so you have to overpay. And he's really good about doing that.
He is.
All right, anybody else got anything that's scary? Because I'm out, except I could probably come up with one off the bat.
I think I'm out of scaries.
That Browns Dolphins game in the playoffs was pretty scary.
It wasn't that scary.
It was like watching a murder.
It was a close game, Spooky.
I watched that Jason movie that exact night, and it was pretty much the same thing.
You must have missed the Bengals playoff game.
I think we all did.
No, okay, all right. Here's the last one that I'm scared of. And Matt, you had this coming for you. I am scared for the Steelers' playoff chances this whole cycle. I know we talked about it on Friday, and Matt clapped back. And you know what? First and Goal talked about it earlier in the week. You know what? No, it's honestly, I'm scared. The AFC got better than it was at the start of the cycle somehow. We lost RD and got better. And Matt went 8-9, and that scares me because I don't know how much you can get out of that Steelers team, and I don't know how much you're going to now be able to compete in that division. And I'm scared for you.
Yeah, me too. I think for me, I thought I got to thinking, well, maybe I just need an easier schedule because, we had the AFC West this year. I had a couple of other playoff teams, the Bears, the Lions, the Vikings.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And so I was thinking, maybe next season or maybe in 2 seasons from now, maybe I'll get an easier division. Well, if I'm playing an easy division, so is Spooky and so is Spades, and I consider Spades better than me. So it's going to be tough. I'm a little scared of that too. I'm actually more scared of finishing last in the AFC North. That's a bigger concern on my plate right now. But we're gonna try to make it once, at least once.
I'm not gonna talk because I'm not really gonna chime in on this one too much because obviously I'm in your division, so I want to say I'm gonna beat you. I want to say I'm gonna win the division for the rest of the cycle. But I am scared for you. Obviously, Spades is new. Spades is unknown, and Spades looks like to have possibly one of the best offenses in the SML. I would like to toot my small horn a little bit.
It's a very small horn.
It's a very small horn.
Hey, it's how you use it that matters.
Exactly. Size doesn't matter. Motion of the ocean. But I used to be a little decent. I want to say competitive in a way. And then you have Bomber, who is just a juggernaut in our division. So I want to see you succeed, just not against me. But I do worry about your hopes going forward.
Before we call this episode quits, I just want to throw it out there, Matt, that you said, I consider Spades better than me. Well, you won, 8 games this year? 8 and 9? Spades won 9 games. Okay, and he only played in 12 of them. So, I think most of us would consider them better than you. I'm sorry. If this is Halloween, I have to come at you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I did play spades close both games. I mean, I don't think the games were as close as the score indicates, but I lost by 1 score every game. But yeah, he's definitely better than me. He's not better than RD, but RD leaving didn't really open up a free playoff spot for us little guys, because I think spades is going to swoop in, no pun intended, and get it.
Horseshoes and hand grenades. I don't care how much you lost by.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. You guys have anything else to add on this Halloween morning?
No, I really don't. Have a happy Halloween.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks, Spooky, for joining us, the Spook Master. I do want to commend you for your work on your Twitter account with the Spooky's Heroes. If anyone's not following his Twitter account, and maybe you can drop it when I'm done talking, but you do stories for the upcoming draft class, and I believe you use NCAA football to do it. You simulate games, you take screenshots from the game. It's kind of we talked about it in chat today, it's kind of an underappreciated content, if you will, that is done in the league, but I think it's fantastic. I caught up on all that you did earlier this morning, and keep it up, buddy. It's really cool.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again, Spooky. Thanks again for listening, guys. I know we're on a Sunday now instead of a Friday, but hey, we'll be back on Friday. Make sure you tune in to listen to Matt and Spooky get married. Thanks, and happy Halloween. Stay safe tonight, guys.